The bathroom door splintered. Wood exploded into fragments. 3 men in black suits flooded through. Huang family soldiers, guns drawn, eyes dead. Mina pressed herself against the tile wall, 6 months pregnant, hands trembling over her belly. The journal pages scattered across the floor like fallen leaves. Her father's handwriting stared up at her, evidence of murder, conspiracy, 25 years of secrets. James stood in the doorway. Her husband. The man who'd kissed her goodbye that morning 3 weeks ago when her father was still alive. He wasn't holding flowers. He was holding a Glock 19. "Smart girl," he said, voice empty as winter. "Hand over the journal. Make this easy." The baby kicked. Hard. Insistent. Stay alive. What you're about to hear isn't just about betrayal. It's about survival. If you value knowing the truth before it's too late, you'll want to stick around. But this story doesn't start with guns and broken doors. It starts 3 weeks earlier, at a funeral. November 18th. Rain hammering Seoul's Gangnam district like bullets. Mina Park, 27 years old, Stanford economics graduate, 6 months pregnant, carrying her father's mahogany coffin. Behind her, mourners whispered, "Such a good daughter, so devoted." At the back of the cemetery, checking his phone, James Park, investment banker, her husband of 4 years, wearing the Rolex her father gave him last Christmas. Nobody knew what she'd discover in 48 hours. Nobody knew her perfect life was built on 25 years of blood money and lies. Picture it. Seoul winter rain, cold enough to bite. Incense smoke curling from funeral censers, mixing with the smell of wet earth and expensive cologne. Black umbrellas everywhere, a sea of respectful darkness. Designer handbags, Italian shoes sinking into mud. The coffin was heavier than Mina expected. Mahogany, solid. Like her father, Park Jin-woo, 62 years old, import business owner, pillar of the Koreatown community. Shot 3 times outside his warehouse. Police called it random gang violence. Her mother collapsed at the gravesite, keening in Korean, raw animal grief. Mina held her pregnant belly with one hand, her mother with the other. Tasted salt from tears mixing with rain. Behind them all, James's phone buzzed. Again. Again. She thought he was stressed about work. She was wrong. What nobody at that funeral knew, Park Jin-woo wasn't just an import businessman. He was the invisible architect of Koreatown's underground empire. Protection payments from 47 businesses. Money laundering through furniture stores. Gambling operations masked as real estate deals. 25 years he'd built it. Not because he wanted power, but because loan sharks threatened his wife when Mina was 2 years old. He'd been an accountant, numbers man, family protector. He became something else to keep them safe. And the man texting at the back of his funeral? James knew everything. The question wasn't whether James knew. The question was, what did he do with that knowledge? 2 days after the funeral, Mina found the journal in her father's office safe. The combination was her birthday, August 14th, 1996. Inside, leather-bound, pages filled with her father's precise accountant handwriting. Names, dates, transactions that made her blood freeze. And on page 63, a single line that stopped her heart. James knows. Met with him November 4th. He wants out clean. November 4th. 2 weeks before her father died. Her hands shook so badly the journal slipped, pages fluttering. Everyone thought this was a story about a daughter mourning her father. They were wrong. This is about discovering the man you loved orchestrated murder. About learning your marriage was built on lies while life grows inside you. About choosing between silence and survival when both paths lead to blood. You're about to witness how a pregnant woman trapped in a bathroom with 3 guns pointed at her belly becomes the most dangerous person in the room. Not because she's violent, because she's her father's daughter. And she inherited more than just his eyes. Drop a comment. Have you ever discovered something that changed everything you thought you knew about someone? Because Mina's about to learn the truth costs more than lies ever did. 3 days before everything shattered, Mina's biggest worry was nursery colors. She worked as a financial analyst at Goldman Sachs' Seoul branch. Stanford degree on the wall. Corner office with Han River views. Her colleagues called her the numbers whisperer. She could spot financial irregularities in seconds. Ironic, considering she'd missed the biggest irregularity of all. Every Sunday, she had dinner with her parents. Mom's kimchi jjigae and Dad's terrible jokes about becoming a grandfather. James would sit there, smiling, one hand on Mina's pregnant belly. "You'll be an amazing father," her dad said once, raising his soju glass. James clinked glasses. "I learned from the best, Father Park." The memory now tasted like poison. What Mina didn't know. She'd been invisible to her father's real world her entire life. He'd kept her clean. Stanford education, legitimate career, marriage to a banker. Everything respectable, everything legal. She was his masterpiece. Proof that dirty money could create something pure. Except the man she married? He saw the dirt, wanted it, then wanted her father dead to take it. Morning of November 18th, funeral day, Mina sat in her father's study, managing his estate. Her mother was sedated upstairs. Someone had to handle logistics, bills, insurance, business accounts. She organized everything with the same precision that made her Stanford's valedictorian. That's when she noticed something odd. Her father's primary business account, Park Import and Distribution, showed massive cash withdrawals. $47,000, $63,000, $91,000. Weekly, for 3 months. Her analyst brain flagged it immediately. Structured to avoid reporting thresholds. Classic money laundering pattern. She pushed the thought away. Dad was legitimate. He had to be. But her hands found the safe anyway, and the combination her father never told anyone, except it was her birthday. 08-14-96. The journal was waiting. Mina didn't cry when she read it. She did what she did best. She analyzed. Page after page, she cross-referenced dates with bank statements, matched names to businesses, built a mental flowchart of 25 years of organized crime. It took her 6 hours to understand her father's entire operation. It took 6 seconds to realize James appeared on page 7. At the bottom of the safe, under the journal, was something else. A small brass key. No label. No box. She turned it over in her palm, noticed engraving on the handle, too small to read without a magnifying glass. She grabbed her father's desk lamp, held the key close. 3 Korean characters. Umak sangja. Music box. Her mother's gold music box. The antique from Busan her father bought 30 years ago. Mina didn't know it yet, but that key unlocked more than a music box. It unlocked her father's insurance policy. and James's death warrant. She heard the front door open downstairs. James's voice. "Mina? Are you still up here?" She shoved the journal back in the safe, spun the lock, slipped the key in her pocket. Her husband's footsteps climbed the stairs. James appeared in the study doorway, still in his funeral suit, tie loosened. "Hey, you okay?" His voice soft, concerned husband. Mina's hand rested on her belly, protective, instinctive. "Fine, just going through Dad's papers." He crossed to her, wrapped arms around her from behind. She felt his chin on her shoulder, his hands covering hers on their daughter. "You don't have to do this alone," he murmured. "Let me help." A month ago, this would have melted her. Now, with her father's words fresh in her mind, James knows, November 4th, he wants out clean. His touch felt like a threat. "What did you talk to my father about on November 4th? The question escaped before she could stop it. His body tensed. Subtle. Most people wouldn't notice. Mina noticed everything now. "November 4th? He pulled away, creating distance. "I don't remember. Why?" "Dad's calendar shows a meeting. You and him. Broadway Cafe." James moved to the window, hands in pockets. His reflection in the glass showed a face she didn't recognize. "He wanted to talk about you," James said finally. "Your pregnancy. Whether I was ready to be a father." "What did you tell him?" "That I'd never been more ready for anything in my life." The lie sat between them like a third presence. Mina's analyst brain cataloged micro-expressions, avoided eye contact, hand in pocket, hiding tremor, jaw clenched, breathing slightly elevated. Deception indicators, 4 out of 5. "James," she kept her voice steady, "what did my father really do for a living?" The silence lasted 5 heartbeats. "He imported furniture from Korea." James turned, met her eyes. "Why are you asking me this?" "Because page 63 says you knew the truth 2 weeks before someone murdered him," she didn't say. Instead, "No reason. Grief makes you question everything." He crossed back to her, kissed her forehead. "Get some rest. You're exhausted." After he left, Mina sat in darkness. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text message. "Stop digging. For your daughter's sake." Mina didn't sleep. At 6 a.m., she was at her laptop, running financial forensics on James's accounts, the ones he thought she didn't know about. What she found made her blood freeze. November 5th, one day after his meeting with her father, James opened an offshore account in the Cayman Islands. November 12th, $2.3 million deposited. Source, untraceable. November 16th, 2 days before her father died, James purchased a one-way ticket to Singapore. Departure date, November 25th. Only one ticket, not for her, not for their unborn daughter, for him and someone named Yuna Huang. For 27 years, Mina had been the good daughter, Stanford scholar, devoted wife, perfect pregnant mother-to-be, invisible to her father's world because he'd built walls to protect her. But staring at evidence of her husband's betrayal, something shifted. Her father's blood ran through her veins. His mind, the accountant who built an empire from numbers, lived in her brain. And his final gift, the journal, the key, the insurance policy, was a weapon. She just had to learn how to use it. Mina stood, felt her daughter kick, whispered, "Your grandfather died protecting us. I won't waste his sacrifice. She opened the journal to page 91, read about James's meeting with FBI agent Chen, his offer to testify, his plan to destroy her father in exchange for immunity. And at the bottom, in her father's shaky handwriting, "If she's reading this, I'm gone. The flash drive is in Mom's music box. Everything's on it. Give it to Chen. Save yourself. Save my granddaughter. Make him pay." The brass key burned in her pocket. If you wouldn't stop here, if you'd burn everything down to protect your child, comment fight. Because Mina's about to become someone even her father didn't know she could be. November 20th, 7 a.m., kitchen table. Mina poured coffee with steady hands. 6 months pregnant, hadn't slept in 48 hours, but her mind was crystalline. James entered. Briefcase, expensive suit. The cologne she used to love now smelled like graves. He set manila envelope on the table between them. "Mina, we need to talk." She sipped coffee. "Okay. I've met someone else." No preamble, no apology. Her name is Yuna. She's uncomplicated. The coffee mug cracked in her grip. Hairline fracture. She watched it spread like lightning. Uncomplicated. Her voice didn't shake. "I'm 6 months pregnant with your daughter." Exactly. He stood, adjusted his Rolex, the one her father gave him. "Your father's gone. The money's dirty. I can't have my name attached to that world. Yuna's family is clean. Her father's a federal prosecutor." The room tilted. Federal prosecutor. Huang. The pieces clicked into place with brutal clarity. "Yuna Huang," Mina said softly. "That Huang family?" James froze. "You know them?" "I know they run the North Side operations. I know they've wanted Dad's territory for years." She met his eyes. "I know her father isn't a federal prosecutor. He's a defense attorney who launders money." The color drained from his face. "How? Did you really think Dad wouldn't tell me everything?" The lie came smooth as silk. "He knew you met with him November 4th. He knew what you wanted." James's hand trembled. He hid it in his pocket. "What did he tell you?" "Quiet. Dangerous. Enough." Mina stood, one hand on her belly. "The question is, what happens now?" "Now?" James laughed, sharp, broken. "Now you sign the divorce papers, take the settlement, raise her somewhere quiet, forget everything you think you know." "And if I don't?" His eyes went dead. "The Huangs don't leave loose ends, Mina. Your father learned that. Don't make your daughter learn it too." She didn't sign. Instead, she called the number on page 34 of her father's journal. "Special Agent Chen speaking. My name is Mina Park. My father was..." "Mina." Chen's voice shifted, urgent. "Where are you right now?" "Home. Why?" "Lock your doors. I'm sending a unit. Don't let anyone in, including your husband." The line went dead. Through the kitchen window, Mina saw James's car pull into the driveway. He'd moved out 2 days ago. Why was he back? Then she saw the second car. Black sedan, tinted windows, parked across the street, engine running. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Text. "Your father kept insurance. James wants it. Give it to him, or your daughter won't see her first birthday." The baby kicked. Hard. Urgent. Mina ran. She had maybe 3 minutes before James used his key. The music box. Her mother's house. 15 minutes away. Mina grabbed car keys, shoved the journal in her purse, took the back exit through the garage. James's voice echoed behind her. "Mina, I know you're here." She reversed out, tires screaming. In her rearview mirror, James running into the driveway, the black sedan following. She drove like her father taught her when she was 16. Back alleys, sudden turns, watching for tails. Think like them. Move like them. You're a park. Act like it. Her phone rang. James. She didn't answer. Text from him. "You're making this harder than it needs to be. Think about Grace." Grace. They'd chosen the name together, their daughter. He was using their unborn child as a weapon. Mina's hands tightened on the wheel. "You want war, James? You just declared it on the wrong family." Mina's mother lived in the old neighborhood, Koreatown, where her father built everything. She parked 3 blocks away, approached on foot, watched for the black sedan. Her mother opened the door, eyes swollen, hands shaking. "Oma," Mina said, "I need to tell you something about Dad." Inside, the house smelled like her childhood. Kimchi, jasmine incense, old photographs. "Your father was a good man," her mother said in Korean. "Don't let them tell you different." "Mom," Mina's voice cracked, "I found the journal. I know what he did." Her mother's face hardened. "Then you know he did it for us. For you." "James is trying to take it. The business. Everything. The words stuck. "Mom, I think he had Dad killed." Silence. Then her mother stood, walked to her bedroom, returned with the gold music box. "Your father said you'd come for this." She handed it over. "He said you'd know what to do." The music box was heavier than expected. Ornate, Pusan metalwork from the 1960s. Mina used the brass key. The lid opened with a soft click. Inside, a flash drive, and a letter in her father's handwriting. "My beautiful daughter, if you're reading this, I failed to protect you myself, but I can still give you the tools. This drive contains everything. My cooperation with the FBI, recordings of James planning my execution with the Huangs, evidence of their entire operation. You have a choice. Give it to Agent Chen and walk away clean, or use it yourself and become what I never wanted you to be. I built this empire so you could have a different life. Stanford, clean career, legitimate future. But if survival requires you to be like me, then be better than me. Be smart. Be ruthless. Be everything I taught you without knowing I was teaching you. Protect your daughter the way I failed to protect you from this. 사랑해, 아빠." Mina's hands shook. Tears blurred the Korean characters. Her mother touched her shoulder. "What will you do?" "He kept me invisible," Mina whispered. "My whole life, he kept this world away from me." "Because he loved you," her mother said. "He wanted you free." "But I'm not free, Mom. I'm pregnant and hunted, and my husband murdered Dad, and Her voice broke. "I don't know how to fight this. I'm an analyst. I work with spreadsheets, not guns." Her mother gripped her face, fierce. "You are Park Jin-woo's daughter. His blood, his mind. He didn't need guns. He needed numbers and strategy and patience. You have all 3. Outside, a car door slammed. Both women froze. Through the window, James. 2 men in suits, approaching the house. Go, her mother hissed. Back door, now. Mom, I'll buy you time. Take the drive to Agent Chen. Finish this. Mina hesitated 1 second. Her mother pushed her toward the kitchen. Your daughter needs you alive more than I do. Go. Would you run or fight? Because Mina's about to learn that being her father's daughter means making impossible choices. If you've ever had to choose between who you are and who you need to become, you know exactly what comes next. Mina ran through the back garden, flash drive clutched in one hand, phone in the other. Behind her, James's voice. Mrs. Park, where is your daughter? Her mother's response in Korean. She's not here. Leave my house. Crash of furniture, her mother screaming. Mina's blood turned to ice. She dialed 119, Korean Emergency Services. My mother's being attacked. 47 Dosandero. Mina! James's voice, closer. I know you're here. She ended the call. Ran. Alley. Main Street. Crowds. She disappeared into Koreatown foot traffic. Pregnant woman invisible among grocery shoppers and restaurant workers. Her phone rang. Agent Chen. I'm tracking your location. Units are 2 minutes out. Where's the drive? I have it. Good girl. Stay in public. Don't go home. Don't go anywhere James knows about. He's at my mother's house. Units are already there. Your mother's safe. But Mina, you need to understand something. Chen's voice dropped. Your father didn't just cooperate with us. He was our star witness. James found out. The Huangs were going to lose everything if your father testified. They paid James to orchestrate the hit. So James killed your father to marry into the family that ordered it and take over the business. Yes. The world spun. Mina made it home. Stupid. Desperate. She needed the journal, physical proof to match the digital evidence. She was in the bathroom when she heard the front door, James's key turning. She locked the bathroom door, opened the journal to page 91. Her father's handwriting swam before her eyes. James meeting with Chen. Offered immunity for testimony against me. Told him the truth. I'm already cooperating. He didn't believe me. Asked for proof. Too dangerous to show him. Pounding on the door. Mina, open up. I know you found something. She texted her mother. Gold music box contents in my purse. If anything happens, give it all to Agent Chen. Don't come home. The door splintered. Wood exploded. 3 men flooded in. Huang soldiers, guns drawn. James stood behind them, Glock in hand. Smart girl. Hand it over. Mina stood slowly. 6 months pregnant, surrounded by guns. Her daughter kicking inside her. You killed him, she said, voice steady. You had my father murdered so you could take everything and marry into the family that ordered it. He was a criminal, James said, soft, deadly. You're carrying a criminal's grandchild, but you can still save her. Give me the journal, walk away. Take the settlement. What happens if I say no? Then you're a liability. The baby kicked, insistent, live. Mina made her decision. She handed him the journal. James flipped through it, relief flooding his face, then confusion. Where's the rest? The recordings, the drive? Safe, she said, with people who'll use it if anything happens to me. You're bluffing. Page 7, November 4th, Broadway Cafe. You told Dad you wanted proof he wasn't planning to harm you. He refused because he didn't trust you anymore. James went white. Page 91. You approached Agent Chen to get immunity, not for testifying against Dad, but for orchestrating his murder. You needed the FBI to believe Dad was a threat. She checked her watch. But Dad was already cooperating. Agent Chen knows that now. My mother's delivering the proof in approximately 6 minutes. You were insurance, James whispered, horror dawning. Your father knew I'd come for you. This was his trap. Sirens wailed outside, growing louder. The Huang soldiers looked at each other, then ran. 3 men disappearing like smoke. James stood frozen, gun hanging at his side. He protected me even after death, Mina said, voice breaking. He knew you'd come. He knew I'd find the journal. He knew I'd run exactly where he needed me to run. Every step was planned. The combination to the safe, the key in the bottom, the letter telling me what to do, the flash drive with recordings of you planning his murder with the Huangs. She pressed her hand to her belly. He didn't just cooperate with the FBI, James. He got immunity for Mom, set up a trust for his granddaughter, and he recorded you admitting everything. You were never going to win this. You were dead the second you betrayed him. The sirens stopped outside. James raised the gun. Mina didn't flinch. Shoot me, and you die in prison. Don't shoot me, and you still die in prison. But only one of those options lets my daughter meet her grandmother. The bathroom door exploded inward. FBI tactical team, Agent Chen leading. Drop the weapon. James Park, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder. James looked at Mina one last time. I loved you once, he whispered. No, she said. You loved what my father could give you. You never saw me at all. Justice doesn't ask permission. If this moment gave you chills, you understand why some stories need to be told. We're almost at the ending, but it's not what you think. The trial lasted 6 weeks. Mina didn't attend. She was busy learning to run her father's legitimate businesses, the ones he'd spent 5 years cleaning. Agent Chen helped transition everything. Furniture stores, real estate holdings, restaurants, all legal now, all clean. Your father protected 40 families, Chen told her once, secured immunity for your mother, set up educational trusts for 6 kids whose parents worked for him. He spent 5 years dismantling his own empire to give everyone, including you, a way out. Then why didn't he just leave? Mina asked. Because men like the Huangs don't let you leave. He had to take them down from the inside, and he needed time to do it right. Chen handed her a file. He was 3 weeks from testifying when James had him killed. 3 weeks from freedom. Mina's hands shook, reading her father's final FBI deposition. I built this empire to protect my family. Now I'm destroying it for the same reason. My daughter will never know this life. She'll have clean money, clean legacy, clean future. That's worth more than any empire. James got 35 years for conspiracy to murder and racketeering. 17 Huang family members were arrested, including Yuna's father, who'd been laundering money for 20 years. At sentencing, James cried, said he'd loved Mina once, said the power corrupted him. Mina watched the news from her hospital bed. She'd gone into premature labor the day James was arrested. Stress, trauma, fear. Grace Park was born 8 weeks early, 3 pounds 4 ounces. Fighter. She spent 6 weeks in NICU. Mina never left her side. Your grandfather died so you could have a different life, Mina whispered through the incubator glass. I'm going to make sure you get it. But the question haunted her. Was she still who she'd been before? Stanford graduate, analyst, good daughter. Or had she become something else? Someone who could look at armed men and not blink. Someone who could use her father's weapons without hesitation. 3 months after Grace came home from the hospital, an envelope arrived. No return address. Hand-delivered to her doorstep. Inside, a photograph of James in prison, and a note in handwriting she didn't recognize. Your father always said you were the strong one, stronger than him. We're watching, making sure the Huang's allies leave you alone. Stay clean. Make him proud. No signature. Mina burned the note. But she kept the photograph. Pinned it to her office corkboard. Reminder of what happens when you underestimate a park. Grace turned 1 year old on a sunny April afternoon. The party was small. Mina's mother, Agent Chen, and her family. A few trusted friends from before everything shattered. No James, no ghosts, just life. Mina watched her daughter take her first steps, wobbling, determined, laughing when she fell, just like her grandfather, never giving up. She has his eyes, her mother said softly. I know. You did good, Dal. He'd be proud. Mina wasn't sure about that. She'd taken her father's criminal empire and legitimized it, turned blood money into clean legacy, used his weapons without becoming him. Was that pride or pragmatism? Some nights, Grace wouldn't sleep. Mina would rock her, walking circles in the nursery, and think about the woman she'd been a year ago. That Mina would have called the police immediately, trusted the system, believed justice worked. This Mina had learned different. This Mina understood why her father built what he built, why he protected what he protected, why some rules exist to be broken when your family's survival depends on it. Am I my father's daughter? She'd whisper to Grace. Or am I something different? The businesses thrived. Mom ran the restaurant, legitimate Korean food, no backroom gambling, just family recipes and honest work. Mina managed the real estate. Every property checked for legal compliance, every transaction documented and clean. Everything her father died to create. One evening, Mina was going through her father's old office, the one she'd converted to her home workspace. Grace was playing on the floor, stacking blocks. Mina found the journal again, opened to page 63. James knows. Met with him November 4th. He wants out clean. Her father had known, had planned, had protected her even from beyond death. Grace babbled something, knocked over her block tower, laughed at the destruction. Mina smiled, put the journal away. You know what, Grace? She picked up her daughter, held her close. Your grandfather was brilliant, flawed, human. He made terrible choices for beautiful reasons. I spent my whole life trying to be perfect. Turns out perfect isn't real. Surviving is real. Protecting the people you love is real. Grace grabbed Mina's face with tiny hands, kissed her nose. In that moment, Mina understood. She wasn't her father's daughter because she used his weapons. She was her father's daughter because she chose what to fight for. And she was something more. A mother who'd make sure Grace never had to make the same choices. If you've ever had to become someone you didn't recognize to protect someone you love, comment survivor. Because this isn't just Mina's story. It's every parent's story who's ever chosen their child's future over their own comfort. Grace was 3 years old when she asked about the photograph. Who's that, Mummy? The picture on Mina's desk, her and her father at her Stanford graduation, his arm around her shoulders, pride radiating from his smile. That's your grandfather. Where is he? How do you explain death to a 3-year-old? How do you explain murder and betrayal and empires built on blood? He's in a better place, Mina said. But he left us something important. What? A choice. To be better than he was. Grace didn't understand. Someday she would. Someday Mina would give her the journal. Let her read her grandfather's words. Let her decide what legacy meant. But not today. Today, Grace just wanted to play blocks. Simple, pure, exactly what her grandfather died to give her. Mina stood in her father's old warehouse, the one where he was shot 3 times, died bleeding on concrete while calling her mother's name. It was a community center now. After-school programs for Koreatown kids, small business incubator, everything legal, everything purposeful. A plaque on the wall. Park Jinwoo Community Center, in memory of a father who gave everything to build a better future. Agent Chen stood beside her. You did it. Everything he wanted. I used his money, Mina said. The money he made from protection rackets and gambling. How is that better? Because you transformed it. That's redemption. Not erasing the past, but building something good from its ashes. Your father was broken. He made terrible choices. But his final choice, cooperating with us, protecting you, setting up this future, that redeemed him. And you? Chen looked at her. You took his darkest legacy and turned it into light. That's not just his daughter. That's someone stronger than he ever was. 6 months later, Mina remarried. Not to money or power. To Taesung, a social worker she met at the community center. Kind eyes, gentle hands. Someone who knew her full story and loved her anyway. Their apartment smelled like contradictions. Kimchi jjigae and Nigerian jollof rice. Korean tradition and new beginnings. Grace's toys scattered everywhere. Blocks, crayons, stuffed animals. You're thinking about him, Taesung said one evening, watching her stare at the journal. Always, Mina admitted. Wondering if I made the right choices. You saved your daughter. Built something good from something terrible. Survived when you should have been destroyed. He took her hand. Those are the right choices. Grace ran in, laughing. Mommy, Uncle Taesung, come see my drawing. A family. Imperfect, real, built from ruins. That night, Mina wrote in the journal. First new entry in her father's leather-bound legacy. Dad, I'm not the daughter you tried to protect from your world. I became someone who could survive it, someone who could transform it. Was that your plan all along? Make me strong enough to carry your darkness and create light? I don't know if I'm the smart girl or the brave one. Maybe I'm both. Maybe I'm neither. But I know Grace will never have to choose between survival and morality. She'll have both because you gave everything to make it possible. That's not just legacy. That's love. Thank you for the weapons. Thank you for the choice. Thank you for teaching me that being your daughter means knowing when to fight and what to let die. 사랑했달. She closed the journal. Outside, Seoul glittered. City of contradictions, just like her family. Light and shadow, past and future, blood and redemption. Mina was all of it. And somehow, that was enough. So here's my question for you. Was James always evil, or did greed corrupt a good man? Drop your take below. I want to hear both sides. Team Mina or Team Walk Away? If you'd found that journal, would you have fought or fled? Tell me in the comments. Did her father redeem himself at the end, or do bad deeds cancel out good intentions? Let's debate. Which scene broke your heart the most? For me, it was realizing Grace would grow up without knowing her grandfather was a hero and a villain. If you're crying, you're not alone. This story proves love doesn't exist in simple categories. It's messy, complicated, and somehow still beautiful. Who else has discovered something about family that changed how you saw them forever? Comment if you've lived through a revelation like Mina's. Have you ever had to become someone you didn't recognize to protect someone you love? You're not alone. Drop a below. For those who've navigated between cultures, between family expectation and personal choice, this one's for you. Which world do you choose when you can't have both? If this story wrecked you, wait until you hear about the woman who discovered her husband's mistress was actually her long-lost sister. That one drops next Tuesday, and trust me, the betrayal runs even deeper. This channel is where broken becomes whole, where impossible choices reveal who we really are, where love, revenge, and redemption collide in ways that'll leave you questioning everything. Subscribe so you don't miss the next story, because once you start seeing these patterns, the hidden legacies, the calculated betrayals, the strength we find when survival demands it, you can't look away. Here's what Mina taught me. Legacy isn't what you inherit, it's what you transform. Her father gave her blood money and survival instincts. She gave Grace clean businesses and the freedom to choose who she becomes. Sometimes being your parent's child means carrying their darkness long enough to create light. And sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is refuse to let the worst parts of your history define the best parts of your future. Mina didn't erase her father's sins. She built something good on top of them. That's not running from legacy. That's redemption. If this story changed how you think about family, legacy, or the choices we make when survival demands it, hit that like button. Your engagement tells me to keep telling these stories. And if you know someone who's navigating impossible family dynamics, who's trying to break cycles while honoring their roots, who's becoming someone their parents didn't plan for them to be, share this video. They need to know they're not alone. Drop a comment telling me, what would you have done in Mina's position? Would you have used your father's weapons? Would you have walked away? Would you have burned it all down and started over? I read every single comment. Your stories matter. Your voices matter. This is where we heal through storytelling. This is where broken becomes whole. Until next time, stay strong, stay complicated, stay beautifully human.